In this video, we're going to talk about a special way to meditate called New Burmese method. It's popularized by a teacher named Mahasi Sayadaw from a place called Burma, also known as Myanmar. Before you practice this meditation, you must develop a good level of concentration, and we're going to learn how to pay really good attention to something. It's like when you focus really hard on a puzzle or a game. This strong focus is called samadhi. Now, most meditation teachers will tell you to pay attention to your breath, the air that goes in and out when you breathe. It helps you concentrate and stay in the present moment. This makes our minds and hearts feel calm because the breath is something simple and neutral. You can feel your breath in different places in your body. Some people feel it at their nose or upper lip, and others feel it in their chest or belly. All of these places are okay for this type of meditation. But Mahasi Sayadaw liked paying attention to the belly. When we watch our belly as we breathe, it's kind of like how we watch our steps when we walk slowly. We notice our belly going up and down, and it reminds us that everything in life is always changing. This change is called impermanence or anicca in Buddhism. The Buddha also wanted us to look at two other things: unsatisfactoriness, dukkha, and not-self, anatta. Understanding these three things can help us find freedom from suffering, and that's what we're going to explore in this video. Mahasi had a specific way of teaching meditation. He didn't suggest focusing on the breath at the nostrils, because it can make you really concentrated, but you might lose touch with your body. This method is good for reaching very deep states of concentration called absorptions. When you get super focused on one thing, it can block out everything else, including your emotions. This isn't great for dealing with your feelings and emotional stuff. But don't worry, you can still use concentration with Vipassana meditation. Mahasi really liked Vipassana, which is about understanding things directly. He didn't say you couldn't focus on your breath at the nostrils if you wanted to. It's still a useful technique. Now, when you focus on your belly or chest when you breathe, you stay connected to your body. This helps you deal with all the ups and downs in your body caused by your thoughts and feelings. Vipassana can be a bit like therapy. Your emotions and thoughts show up in your body as tight spots, pains, and sometimes strong feelings. You have to let all of this come up in your mind and be patient with it. It's all part of the process. If you can focus on the ups and downs of your belly without losing your concentration for a long time, you can now move on to another stage called noting. According to what the Buddha taught, there are two steps before you can fully concentrate. The first step is like when a little kid learns to say the name of something they see, like car. It's simple and direct, like when a 2-year-old says, car. That word car is just a way to point at the thing. It doesn't involve a lot of complicated thoughts like we have as adults. When we think about a car, it brings up all sorts of memories and desires. That's what thinking is. When we have lots of thoughts about something. It's like a monkey jumping from one tree branch to another, and it's what we need to stop doing. So, in meditation, we start by reducing our thoughts to just one word, like car. But even then, we have to keep our attention from wandering all over the place and make sure we focus on what's happening right now. To do this right, we have to note things precisely. It means we acknowledge what our body, heart, or mind are doing. For example, when we wake up from daydreaming, the first note is like saying, I was daydreaming, planning, or wanting something. Then, the second note is recognizing what's occupying our mind. The same goes for sensations or feelings in our body. The first note is noticing that something's happening, and the second note is like saying, this is what's really going on right now. Even though we note things carefully, we don't focus on the words, we focus on the actual experience. The feeling of a sensation, the feeling of an emotion, or the knowing of a thought. It's like our intuitive intelligence sees through the words and understands what's happening directly. This way, we use our thinking mind to help our intuitive intelligence, instead of letting our thinking mind cloud our understanding. When we meditate, we notice that our thoughts can be of two kinds, one where we think about ideas, and the other where we create mental pictures. For example, as we pay attention to our breath, we might have the idea that it's rising and falling, and we might even imagine the shape of our abdomen moving. We don't try to get rid of these thoughts, we just keep our focus on the physical sensations of the breath, like the feeling of movement. As we do this, our attention gets stronger, and it takes the energy away from thinking. It's like a bee that lands on a flower and stays there, not wanting to fly away. This is the second stage of developing good concentration, and it's called Vipassana. If we keep noting and put our attention more on the breath sensations, really feeling them as they come and go, thinking will eventually stop. Thinking is always about something, and it's influenced by our past experiences and how we see things. That's why thinking can't help us see things in a new way. If we want to experience things as they truly are, we have to stop thinking about them. When thinking stops, we are fully present with what's happening, and that's when real Vipassana awareness, called Sammasati, arises. Our intuitive understanding, Panya, is no longer distorted by thoughts and images. Finally, we can start to see and understand things as they really are. Don't worry about when to stop noting in meditation. It naturally stops when you become very aware and focused. These moments of pure Vipassana are short but full of insight. They're called Khanika Samadhi, like brief, concentrated awareness from moment to moment. Unlike other types of concentration, it doesn't focus on just one thing. It takes whatever comes up in your mind, sensations, emotions, or thoughts, to understand the three characteristics of existence: impermanence, unsatisfactoriness, and not-self. Vipassana concentration is there to support your awareness and intuitive understanding. It's like a steady look at the impermanence of things that leads to freedom. Noting can be challenging for some meditators. Sometimes, the word feels too loud and takes over the meditation. This shows how much we rely on thinking. By patiently focusing on our feelings, we can free our intelligence from constant thinking. It's a discovery that there's another way to experience the world. Another challenge is trying to find the perfect word, but even a simple word like feeling works just fine. This type of noting isn't limited to sitting in meditation. It should continue from the moment you wake up to when you go to sleep. The Mahasi teacher used to say, keeping your awareness going is the key to success. So, it's essential to note even the small actions in your day, like opening a door. Don't believe that sitting is more important than walking or eating. They're all equally important in this practice. Noting isn't just about sensations and emotions, it also includes our thoughts, especially our intentions. Intentions are thoughts mixed with desires, and not all desires are bad. We want to strengthen the good ones, like the desire to meditate. We note intentions because they are behind all our actions, what we do, say, and think. Noting intentions gives us a chance to see if they are helpful or harmful. We can then let go of harmful intentions and empower the ones that lead to contentment. This relates to the concept of kamma, which the Buddha called will or satana. Will is the power that turns intentions into actions. When we note an intention, we are setting the stage for it to become a reality. For example, when we stand and note the intention to walk, eventually our foot moves, and this act is kamma. Repeated actions like these form our habits, and our collection of habits shapes our personality. Our personality guides us toward our destiny. So, noting intentions is a crucial part of progressing toward liberation. Noting is a technique that helps us train our attention to stay focused on what's happening and tricks our thinking mind to stop its constant chatter. Our thinking often distorts our perception, as it relies on categories, memory, and concepts. By stopping this process and keeping our perception simple at the point of contact, our intuitive intelligence can see things like a child, but with a deeper understanding. This intelligence is ready to observe the three characteristics, which is how it breaks free from the mistaken belief in a fixed identity and the idea that our body, heart, and mind define our true self. Going slowly. Going slowly, doing things slowly, refers to all those areas of activity the Buddha talks of in the discourse on how to establish mindfulness. In the section on doing things mindfully, Sampajana Karihoti, whether looking, dressing, attending to one's toiletry, eating, and so on. When we perform actions very slowly and deliberately, it sharpens our attentiveness and makes the way things are easier to perceive. This is much the same as slowing down a film. A film shown in slow motion allows us to see more, the flick of a frog's tongue as it catches a fly, for example. We would not usually see such a thing, but with special film techniques, the whole process can be discerned. In the same way, the more we slow down our own movements, the more easily do we perceive how the body, heart and mind interact. Progress of insight. Such is the power of this technique that it is possible to guide a meditator through the classic stages of the insight knowledges, Vipassana Gnana. These are the insights that lead to the direct experience of Nibbana, the first time known as stream entry, Sotapanna. The whole process being repeated 3 times leading to the attainment of the path and fruit of the once-returner, Sakadagami, the non-returner, Anagami, and the Arahat, the enlightened being. The Mahasi explains all this in clear detail in his book, The Progress of Insight. The Mahasi has completed tours in Southeast Asia, USA, and Europe. In Britain, he came to lead courses at the Oakenholt Centre near Oxford owned by the Burmese Saw family. Later came his chief disciples, Sayadaw U Janaka and Sayadaw U Pandita. Unfortunately, the Saw family had to sell Oakenholt on the sad passing of Mr. Saw and the impetus faded. However, now there are city viharas in London and Manchester where Mahasi monks dwell and teach this system. It is also hoped that the Satapanya Trust will raise enough interest to establish a Mahasi meditation center and carry on the work of one of the most eminent Vipassana teachers of the last century, the Mahasi Sayadaw.